where, like I said, where I grew up in the Valley, in North Hollywood and Sun Valley, if I didn't walk around with my chest out with confidence, I would have got run over. I mean, they'll eat you alive, right?
Hey guys, welcome back to Driven Channel. I'm here with a returning guest. This is a loyal realtor here, friend, family member almost. Well, you're family. I call you family, right?
I'd think so. I'd hope so.
You're a brother. So Alexis. So I wanted to bring back Alexis here because Alexis has quite a story. He's always been a top producer, but what impressed me a lot recently, Alexis, is that you went through a little slump, but then you came back like stronger than ever. So we're gonna get into that. But first of all, what I want to start with is maybe you could give a little intro for people that don't know who you are, maybe people that you're new to, and people are watching you for the first time. Who is this guy that looks like Pitbull? He actually does real estate, and he has a really cool, inspiring story. So if you could just briefly, because I know we had a episode 1. You guys can go back and see episode 1. But maybe just quickly, Alexis, who is Alexis? Where did he come from, and why did you get into real estate? And also, I want to give you a big thank you and just tell you that I'm really proud of you and what you're accomplishing in your real estate career right now and for your future that looks very, very promising, Alexis. Thank you for being back.
Thank you for having me, of course, and thank you for setting this up. Amazing as always. You're outdoing yourself, Albert. So this is a great setup. We've come a long way, I'd like to say. Thank you again for having me. So who's Alexis Ubeda and where am I now, I guess would be the question. So Alexis Ubeda, so I migrated from Guatemala when I was 4 years old with my mom. That's another story in itself. I literally crossed the border. Yes, just crossed. True story. A lot of people feel like, oh, that you made that up. Where'd you get that from a movie? Like, no. So that being said, I don't remember much of Guatemala. We have family out there, but just wanted to give credit to my mom for being courageous and bringing me along at a 4 year, when I was 4 years old. And at that age, you're not really comprehending what's going on. So all the credit goes to her. You're just a kid. You're just, if mom says go here, you go here. So anyway, so we got here when I was 4, and because of her is a big reason as to where I'm at now. I think I give her all the credit and pushing me. And I grew up in North Hollywood for half of my childhood, and the second half I grew up in the city of Sun Valley. And if you know the Valley, that they could be a little rough. For me personally, I grew up right in the heart of all the activity. Yeah. So, and me being the child that I was always active, looking to do stuff. Sports helped me to stay out of trouble, but I was really in that environment, right, where I could have easily gone the opposite direction. So I give credit to mom for that, because she's the one that would push me and get me out of trouble when I was in trouble. And she's the one that was like, you got to go to school. And, I went to Cal State LA, fast forward to Cal State LA, to play baseball, and I hurt my arm there. So the baseball career was practically over before it even started. And at that point, as a young kid, you're like, well, I don't need to go to school. What's school for? I'm not going to be a baseball player anymore. Why bother? But she was the one that pushed me again. It's like, you got to finish school. And I went ahead and did it, graduate with a bachelor's with broadcast journalism. And then I attempted many opportunities to try to get hired as a journalist. And I finally came to the conclusion where I was like, okay, so I got offered jobs out of state to write. I'm like, I'm not going to write. I'm not going to do radio. If I'm not going to be in front of the camera, I didn't want to do it. I felt like I needed to jump in right into the camera, fast forward, and skip the writing and the radio, which a lot of people in the journalism world are like, well, that's how I got started and that's how I made it. I just didn't want to do that. So I turned down a lot of spots. I did have one opportunity that I thought I had in Arizona. So I really, there was a point in my life where I'm like, well, I'll be in Arizona soon. Like I went there to interviewed for the whole weekend. I was going to be one of their local reporters on TV. That didn't pan out, and then I just said, well, shoot, I got to do something. And of course, I was working, my 9 to 5s, but I knew there was something bigger and better out there. And then I went to law school, and that was an experience in itself. In law school, they sat me down after my first year and were like, "Hey, buddy, you got all C's." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, right?" They're like, "No, this. You in law school, like even the A students don't pass the bar, so they're kindly telling me, is this what you want to do?
Yeah.
Are you serious about this? So I took a break from that, and back to where I was in college. I have a lot of buddies that were in the real estate world that were making a lot of good money, before the crash and all that, and they would always say, "Hey, you should do real estate." I'm like, "No, that's not for me." And I'm like, for 10 years, right? You should do real estate. You should random people, different people I'd run into. So after that law school situation, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna try it. Let's do it. And then since 2013, 2012, 2013 is when I started in the real estate game, and here I am now. So I'm very grateful for all those experiences, and I think now just it takes time. Like you talk about it all the time. You're like, people see what you've accomplished, and they just assume that you did it overnight. And when I look back at my story, I feel like, yeah, it's been a good 10 years that I've been in the real estate game. And I think that's what, one of the big reasons where I'm at now. I didn't just get my license and become successful right away. I did close, for all my real estate guys out there and girls, I did close 10 deals on my first year. And apparently that's not normal. So
Yeah.
I was pretty pumped about that.
So when you started off strong and you had a really good year the first year, and then you also had another business, we spoke about it at the first podcast. So you had another business that you had, and then we met, and we had kind of like a mastermind, me and you,
Yeah.
and I told you, hey, you got to cut that business because
Yeah, I remember that.
it's too much going on, and then you cut that business.
Correct.
And you left that business, and then you focused on real estate, and you absolutely crushed it. Then you do good, and then people can see the first episode. Just go back on the episodes. But one thing that I'm really curious about that I want you to share, because I think it'll help a lot of agents.
Sure.
We met a lot of times, and we've masterminded quite a bit of times, and you're one of my closest guys, one of my those people that I kind of like to have a lot of communication with and make sure that you're doing good. And we met, and we had a meeting not too long ago, and you were going through a little slump, and you were
Yep.
not it seemed like you had lost a little bit of motivation.
Correct.
Maybe you were a little down. We had a good talk, and then I told you, hey, you know what, power schedule. You got to create a power schedule, and we went over a lot of things, but one thing that stood out was the power schedule. And then you went back, and then you created it, and then
Correct.
you sent me like, hey, this is what I have so far. What do you think about it? And just a couple little tweaks that you did, and then you came back stronger than ever. And right now, you're one of the hottest agents for Ambiance, and you have a lot of listings and a lot of open escrows when people right now are struggling in real estate in general, in the industry. So if you could talk about that, first of all, like mentorship, because I know besides me, besides Sil, you listen a lot to people like Bobby Castro, and you really like to learn, and you stay improving all the time. But number one, I know it's a tougher market for a lot of realtors out there, but you're crushing it. So why do you think you went on the slump, even though you've been winning for a lot of years and you have experience? Why did you go on this little slump, and how did you get out of it so quick to the point where now you're one of the top guys in the company again? Can you explain how that happened?
Yeah. Let me try and explain that real quick. But
Because another thing is like you just got a brand new G-Wagon. You just got a brand new S-Class.
Yeah.
And you said it's not an S-Class, it's an S63
Yeah, it's an AMG package.
AMG package. Yeah, so that's quite a bit of a difference. So I'm not saying that to show up, but you also bought $1 million home.
Correct.
That you also remodeled completely, and so you've done a lot like recently. So if you could just go like, how did you go in a slump after doing so good, and then how do you get off that slump so quickly to the point where right now you're just kicking ass and you're one of the top people at Ambiance? How did all that happen? Because it's a lot.
It is a lot, and let me go back to a little bit to 2019 when you and I had that discussion about my other business, and I spoke to you. I had the privilege to speak to Bobby Castro. Thanks, Bobby. Appreciate your kind words and your help. So both of you basically said the same thing. You need to focus on real estate. Whatever happened with that other company, and that's okay. It's a learning experience, but you need to get out of it. And I listened, and 2020 hit, and that's right. Remember, COVID hit in March 2020, right? So
Yeah.
so I'm going in the beginning of the year, like, yeah, I'm super stoked, and then COVID hit, and I'm like, oh my God! Like, out of all the years, I'm just doing real estate 100%, right? Because I was doing real estate beforehand, but it was part time because, like you said, we're juggling. But what I'm getting at was back then, 2019, right at the end of the year, you and Bobby said, just get rid of it, scratch it, move forward, and focus on real estate. So what happened was my mindset changed, and I truly believe this. And we'll go back to a few months ago, and you and I spoke again. So my mindset changed in the sense where it was all positivity, and like you said, I'm always trying to learn, and I really am. I'm not a great reader in the sense that I can't tell you I read a book a day, but I try, right? Even in law school, that was the hardest thing for me, was to study, because you had to read so goddamn much.
I don't think anybody reads a book a day.
Exactly.
That's 365 books a year.
Right? So I tried to do my part, and what I did was I listened to you and Bobby, and I focused on real estate. And then when COVID hit, it's kind of like where we're at now. Everybody's mindset was like, oh my God, COVID, we're screwed. Everybody's screwed. And what happened in 2020, I had my best year there. And
Yeah.
Through COVID, because I was so focused in the sense that I'm like, nothing's going to stop me. I'm not going to listen to the news. I literally don't watch news anymore. And a lot had to do with, talking to you about all that and not listening to all the noise. So in 2020, we had that power talk, right? And we tweaked things around, which we tweaked a lot, really, thanks to you. And then fast forward to this year, so one thing I truly believe is as humans, we're not perfect, right? We strive to be perfect, and that's good. And you should always fall forward, not fall back. A lot of people, we talk about having a backup plan, but the way from my experience, is without a backup plan, if you're moving forward in the right direction, you'll fall forward, you won't fall back, but that's still falling forward towards your goals, right? Falling back, you're taking a step back, and now you're relying on something else to catch you, or someone else, or whatever the case may be. So now the way I look at it is, even when I do mess up, right, and I make mistakes, I'm going to fall forward towards my goals. So I think a lot about it this year. We'll fast forward to this year. I got in a funk where, in our industry, things happen. Now, one thing that I've learned is you got your mindset right, you're going towards your goal, you're going to hit some bumps and you're going to fall. Just fall forward, number one. Number two, the fact that you're hitting adversity is because you're going towards the right direction. Why? Because if you didn't have adversity, then you're probably not doing much, you're not growing, right? Because I can't imagine that Jeff Bezos, Donald Trump, the bigwigs don't have any problems, right? Would you say that they have no issues at all?
They have bigger problems.
They have bigger problems. The only people that don't have problems are who? Do you know?
Guys, if you made it this far, I have an exclusive mastermind that I want you to join. Go to drivenacademy.com and subscribe to my exclusive mastermind, where we're going to meet in person every month at my workshop, and you get more perks. All you got to do is go to the link below and sign up. I'll see you there.
at that time, that's when I said, "Hey, do you have a minute?" Because I knew I needed a different set of eyes. I had my own sunglasses on like I do now. But at that point, it was very foggy, and I was losing hope in a sense where I just wasn't like I was producing, but not really producing, if that makes sense. In our industry, yeah, we have our ups and downs, but even though I was doing this, I wasn't feeling up or down. I was feeling just way low. So I want to thank you for that because you helped me clarify, unfog my glasses per se, right? And bring more clarity to what I was doing. So back to 2019 and this, the difference is, and to answer your question, in short, is I changed my mindset and I changed the way I was seeing things because I was I can give you 20 reasons why I was such in a funk this year. But the moment we tweaked that and the moment you and I spoke, something changed. And like you said, we talked about the scheduling. So for me, it was the scheduling, but that's the physical aspect of it per se, right? But it was more the mental aspect. And I think, and I want to thank you for that because in 2019, you changed my mentality to a positive way. And now back again in 2022, when I needed it the most, you changed my mentality again. And now, like you said, we've been able to, buy the house, buy the cars. And the cars are really, they're a great, big, small wins. And what I mean by that is that I think there's more to life than materialistic things. But at the same time, me getting a Mercedes, actually two, right? And like I said, this isn't to brag, it's just to share my story.
And they're not just cheap Mercedes; they're like the big boy ones.
I said if I'm gonna get them, we're gonna do the AMG package. So we got my beautiful we got my beautiful wife Wendy. I love you, babe. A G-Wagon, and then I got myself an S63 AMG, which is a 4-door sedan. But like I said, it's a small big win in a sense that it's a big win for us, for me personally. Some people are born to that stuff. When I was a kid, if my parents had a car, that's all that mattered. Meaning we were so grateful to just have a car, like not be in the bus. So for me to go from there to being able to pick a car, it's a big win. And I think we should all cherish our wins, even if they're small or big. Take the time, step aside and say, wow, that was good. Good job, Alexis. Good job, Albert, whatever the case may be. And then move forward. Now, it's a small win in the sense that that's not what I think I'm here for in a sense. In the bigger picture, I feel there's a lot more to it, and that's to help people live their dreams and have that American dream and get their homes. I fell into real estate. I'm still here now, and I really feel that that's one of the reasons that I'm here on earth is for that calling. Now, I do feel there's more to it. I think there's going to be a lot bigger wins for my family and I, and for people around me, around my inner circle, and just clients that I help out and all that. So I think there's more to it. But back to what we were saying, I think what really happened was just getting clarity through a different set of eyes, which was yours, and then putting and attacking that and putting that into effect. Because even back then in 2019 with Bobby and you, yeah, I could have said, yeah, you're right, and then not done anything and continue doing the company and probably continue to fail. I don't know. But I put the advice you guys gave me and the advice you gave me this year into effect. And then now we're I think I can say this, right? Like I said, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I think it's a small big win again that this month is going to be my best month ever in my career. This month of December, it's going to be I want to say 6 digits.
I was going to say that commission. Right now. You read my mind. I was about to say that because you funded already. I mean, you closed a million point something. I'm not going to get in detail with all the numbers, but you closed another few deals. And you have an active pipeline right now. Are you going to close a lot more to finish the year? Yeah.
So right before we jumped on here, I got a message from our boy John Delgado. What's up, Big John? So we should be recording in our world. The recording is pretty much closing on Friday. That's another deal, and then we're set to record maybe because of the holiday next Friday another deal. And then in another with another deal I have, it's probably going to close next Friday as well. There's basically 4 left,
Yeah.
and they're all set to record before the end of the year. So it'll be my biggest month in my career.
So you'll definitely make over 100 grand.
Yeah.
So Alexis,
Which you know, it's a great thing.
So
It's a great
question,
thing.
so if you make a if because you've done it before, you've had other huge months
I have.
where you're close to the 6 digits. What would it take? And I always ask you this. This is a challenge.
Yeah.
Why don't you do this every single month?
Great question.
And you're not and I'm not and this guy kills it, by the way. This guy does big numbers every month. But if I could just push back a little bit,
Yeah.
one of the things that we went over when we met last time is how do you stay consistent, Alexis? How can you stay consistent all year long? Because he has the talent, like you have the talent, but how do you stay consistent every single month? And why? What do you think led to that little slump that you went in, and you saw how fast you jumped out of it? So
Yeah.
why do you think? Because you were kind of sad when I saw you, you were like sad and kind of confused. And then I even told you, hey, don't get the car, Alexis. Don't get the car. Just
I remember that.
and then-
Hey, you weren't supposed to share that. You did. You were like, you should get maybe a Tesla, a little one. I was like, no. Well, first of all, nothing against Tesla. I just think they're boring, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, we went in there, and you're right. I was really down. I was in a funk. And I think, like I said, we're always up and down. How do I keep it consistent? I mean, that is $1 million question in the sense that I think as realtors, and from experience, that's all I can speak on is realtors. I think it's doable. I see it in my future where I'm gonna have an autopilot where I am gonna be consistent. I'm still working on myself for that. I feel that there's a lot of different intertangibles that you need to figure out for that to happen, and I'm still in that growing stage where I haven't figured it all out yet. And I think you never are, but I do foresee in my future where I will be consistent as to that point where like we're human, but I feel like the consistency will come. I don't have that answer. I wish I did have that answer.
You think you got comfortable?
I think I got comfortable. I do. Comfort will really eat you alive, and I think that's part of what was happening with me, and I think it happens to everybody.
Because remember, I'll share this.
Yeah.
You were starting to come to the office and just getting very comfortable where you were like wearing shorts.
Yeah.
And we had
I
a
remember
conversation.
that.
I told you, Alexis, you're better than that. And I didn't mean it in a bad way,
Yeah.
because there's times where you were to wear shorts, but it was almost like you knew you're a top producer and you kind of were like, yeah, you know what, I'm a badass, I'm good, and you were showing up very casual.
Yeah.
And I told you, hey, Alexis, any day you could meet up or you could meet a relationship that could be a life-changing relationship. What if you meet a future business partner? What if you meet an investor? What if you never know who you're going to meet?
That's true.
So like be ready all the time. And especially, when you're going to be in places where other people are going to see you, because people look up to you and so right away you like made a change, and now you started showing up every day, and just little things like that. And I'm a victim of that. I say that because that happens to me, and sometimes I also got to wake myself up, or I have to have somebody call me out. Because if I'm the leader and I want to say like, hey guys, you guys have to do this, you got to show up on time, you got to dress to impress, be ready all the times. And if I'm not doing it, people are going to they're going to see me and they're going to be like, hey, well, why is he not doing it? Because one of the most important lessons that I've learned is people don't do what you tell them to do. People do what they see the leader doing.
Correct.
So if they see you doing it, then they're gonna do it. But that's just another thing that I caught. But speaking of that, why did you create, or when did you decide this is gonna be my brand? I'm gonna shave my head. I'm gonna wear shades, and then your outfits are always like a bright color. Like they're always like they stand out. Like it's never like a black color or a
like today.
beige. Like it's a blue that sticks out.
It is.
And you'll wear like colorful colors.
Yeah.
And you always have the shades, and you shave your head.
Yeah.
You shave your head every day?
No.
No?
I I'd get irritated. That my head will get
So
irritated.
every other day?
Maybe every 3.
You shaved it today.
Yeah, 100%.
Today, yeah.
I'm like I'm seeing Albert.
You shave it. You shave it yourself.
Yes.
So you have a personal brand. I don't know if you know that, or if you know it, but
yeah.
but you've been more and more active on
the
social
branding.
media now.
Yeah.
How much business do you get from social media? If you get business from social media, and then you've been very consistent with social media, and you created a personal brand, even though I don't know if you realize it. You could talk about that, but
Yeah.
people recognize you when they see you because of the shades, the shaved head, and the colorful outfit. So tell me how that came about. Is that something that you said, I'm gonna dress like this and I'm gonna
Yeah.
stand out, or did you just do it on accident?
I would say it's accident. I say it comes through character, right? It comes through who you are. Even when I was a young kid, I always liked to do things different. So if they told me you got to wear this, I'm like, no, I'm gonna wear something else. And a lot of times I think it's a lot of people confuse my confidence with cockiness. And I feel like like I said, where I grew up in the Valley, in North Hollywood and Sun Valley, if I didn't walk around with my chest out with confidence, I would have got run over. I mean, they'll eat you alive, right? So as a young kid, I knew that I had to be confident. And when that confidence came out, this just came out naturally. Like I just I like to think there's a style, so I feel
Yeah.
stylish.
Yeah.
So just naturally, it's something that I feel comfortable in. So they say don't let my confidence bring out your insecurities. It's not about you, it's about me. And this is how I feel comfortable. I'm not here to show anybody off. It's just I feel comfortable like this. It wasn't something that I planned out. I guess luckily, like you said, I just kind of fell into it out of luck. But this is what I like, so this is what I wear. And back to what you were saying, when I was really comfortable at the office, at home, I just I'm wearing a t-shirt and shorts and sweats, and that's it. And that's where you were saying you came to the office like you're a little too comfortable. And it was because that I got a little comfortable. I'm like, oh, it's my office. It's it's the boys. It's it's TMG, and I wasn't seeing things how you were telling me. Where like, dude, this is a professional atmosphere, and like you said, who knows where you're gonna run into, and it just clicked back to me. It was easy to come back and wear my suits. I have all my suits. I just was so comfortable around you guys that I was like, oh, they're family. I'll just I'll wear what I wear at home.
Yeah.
Which is what happened, really. But yeah, comfort was one of the things. And no, the branding, it happened, accidentally. I think what happens with me and branding and or social media is I get the recognition, at least in the Valley. People, know of me, have heard of me, so they feel comfortable coming to me and asking me questions and potentially giving me leads. For me to say I get leads from IG, I'd say it's very, very, very slim, but it does give me. It allows me to market myself, and allows me to have recognition around my peers and the people in my area, to where they can just point and say, "Oh, go to his IG," and they see me and they recognize me, and then that leads to potential clients and people actually feeling comfortable with working with someone they've never met before.
Yeah.
But the whole image, I think I just always dressed a little different.
Yeah.
Since I was a kid, I always wanted to be different.
And Alexis, like people see the 6 figures a month, the AMG S class, the G wagon, the personal brand, how you look, the success,
Yeah.
to say the least. But people don't realize that you have gone through a lot of ups and downs in life.
100%.
And like you grew up in government housing that
Yep.
a lot of you don't know, so it was like a rough start, and then you reached this success. But then also, I spoke to your wife, before
Wendy.
this, and she told me that she told me
Yeah.
that she's really proud of you. She said she's really proud of you
Yeah.
because you're going to therapy now. And I don't know if you
Yes.
want to talk a little bit about
Yes.
that because I
Yes.
didn't know until you brought it up to me a few times in the past. You said that you had an unfortunate incident that happened
Yeah.
not too long ago, and it has really affected you, but you never really talk about it, but it's always been on your mind.
Yeah.
So now you're going through therapy, and that has really helped you. And she said she's really proud of you for doing that. And then
Yeah.
she's noticed a different Alexis. Can you touch on that a little bit? Because a lot of people see your success, but they don't see that you did go through a lot of hard times.
Well, that's correct. That's correct. And I'll take the time to say hi to my beautiful wife, Wendy. Juanita, how are you? And my son, Mateo, I love you, baby. And my beautiful daughter, Mia. Yeah, you know what? It's all because of them. It's all because of her. So basically, I can honestly say that when I was a kid, my mom was my biggest supporter, and she still is. But she's the one in my ear saying, "You got to do this, you got to do that." And then now Wendy switched into that role where now she's the one in my ear saying, "You got to do this, you got to do that," because she's seen everything. She's seen the good and the bad. And like you said, a lot of people see, whatever they want to call successful. I still feel that there's a lot more to come for us as a company, as me personally, just everybody here. I think that we're just peaking. I feel like I'm just peaking it myself, and a lot of it is called the swan effect, which I don't know if you've heard of it, but a swan, they're so gracefully, right, and then they look. They present themselves so they're up like this, their chest is out, and they're just kind of gliding through the water, and they look so beautiful, right? Everybody looks at a swan like, oh my God, look how beautiful that is. But what they're not seeing is underneath the water, they're paddling like super fast. So they're in a sense you can say, oh my God, they're struggling to do that, but no one sees that. No one sees the behind the scenes work, and that reminds me of you actually, because I've seen the growth. And we can talk about X, Y, and Z. I know plenty in the sense where you have the swan effect, where everybody sees the Ferraris, sees the house, the entrepreneur, the fame, etc. But they don't know what you've gone through, what we've all gone through. So, and I think that's just part of life. That not everybody's gonna know that stuff. So they're gonna talk and criticize and etc. etc. But thanks to Ueda, Wendy, she's like, and she's been telling me for years, by the way. I just finally listened. I started going to therapy and bringing out stuff out of me that I've pushed away mentally, that I don't talk to anybody about, and I'm still working on that. So the funny story is, around the same time you and I met is when I started. Either I had just started or was about to start therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something of the swan effect that I'm referring to, where, that's behind the scenes stuff. So I think that's helped as well. So, in our culture, que pinche therapy ni que nada, right?
Yeah.
And I can personally say, if you feel it, just do it. I mean, most of us have insurance and that covers it, right? So if you can do it, and if you don't want to, maybe get a friend that you trust and you feel comfortable with, and just really talk about all that stuff. Because what happens is, what I've learned is our mind gets cluttered with all this stuff, and so does our heart that we don't talk about. We just push down. So then that brings out stuff that it makes us react different, and it brings out stuff that maybe we don't want to bring out. So it changes our mindset. It changes everything. So when you and I met, if I remember correctly, it was probably either I had just started therapy or I was about to start therapy, because I was so like out of it, where I'm like, oh my God, I got to change something. And I jumped into therapy. And so, I've been at it. I talked to my therapist. I started once a week, and now we moved it to twice a month. And I think it's very helpful for me. And if, like I said, if you guys feel like it's something you should do, then don't fight it and just do it. It's nothing to be ashamed of either. So I think that's helped out a lot.
And And therapy, do you wanna, are you open to kind of sharing like why you started going to therapy, or do you want to talk about it at some other time, or how do you feel about that? Just because I
I,
think it does help people, because there's other people that might be going through the same
yeah.
thing.
Um, it's hard to say because at the same time, for me, there's a lot of I've had a lot of unforeseen incidents dealing with death. So I feel like that's eating me alive internally. I didn't know how to react to it. So grief is something that I think in all cultures, I don't care if you're white, black, or purple, whatever, or pink, whatever. No one really talks about grief. It's
Yeah.
something that it's kind of like it happened and you move on and you deal with you keep going on with life. A good friend of mine, actually, his father started the grief therapy, grief recovery system, I believe what it's called. He just passed away, I believe, last year, and now my buddy Cole James is he's in Oregon now, and he runs a program. And I took his class many years ago when Weta and I had an unfortunate incident with our two little angels that taught me that every religion, and with all due respect, treats grief differently. But his program is very to the core, where you can be from any religion, and the what I'm getting at is the main thing is to actually treat it versus just go through it and ignore it. And I think that I thought I treated it right, that situation, or even with my late father, that I found out he passed away. Was it this year? I think it was this year. Yeah. So I think that was something that was eating me alive. That I never met him, or I don't remember him because I was 4 years old when I left.
Yeah.
But I found out that he passed away, and he passed when I found out he had already been passed away for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I'm like, whoa. Even though to me it was like, well, I mean, we didn't have a relationship, and I don't even know the guy. But I guess just knowing that he was your father biologically, it just still bugs you a little bit. So unfortunately, I've dealt with a lot of that just on the silent side. And I think through therapy and just grief, I think it's something that we should work on, and personally, right? And just kind of, and I think that's kind of like one of the reasons I reached out. I'm like, how do I deal with this? Because I just always put it away. And I believe that when we put stuff away, it's still in our mind, so it's taking up space.
Yeah.
Or it's still in your heart and it's taking up space because you're not letting it go properly, And like I said, his system it's not geared to a specific religion, but it's very black and white. I thought I had dealt with it and knew how to deal with it, and now this came up, which was I think a big deal for me mentally, but I didn't really talk about it. So that's one of the reasons why. Another reason why I think I was kind of in a fog, per se, but yeah, therapy's it's helped out.
And do your kids, do they know the story of what happened with you and Weta, or they don't know?
You know what? They do know.
They'll know when they get older.
No,
when they watch the
No, they
podcast.
know. They know.
Both?
Weta told them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weta told them about the babies.
Because they're how old?
So Mia's 7 and Mateo's 9.
Okay.
But they've been knowing since, I want to say like, since they were like 5, since Mateo was maybe 5.
And do they ever bring it up?
100%. Yeah. They always bring it up. To them, it's like, oh, my two older brothers in heaven. So they, obviously they're kids. But the thing about kids is that us as adults, our kid is dying inside of us, in the sense that when you're a kid, I don't know if you remember, but or you can see videos now on IG or wherever you see them. Kids are fearless.
Yeah.
And they're very black and white.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh my God, the kid's the gentleman's fat." Like they'll just say random thing
Yeah.
because they're very honest and pure. There's no holding back, right? So, Wera went ahead and said, "You know what? I'm gonna tell them." And I was against it because, like I said, back to grief, it's something we don't talk about. But she was very to like, no, they need to know, and they'll grow up knowing. And once they're adults, they'll make up their own decision on or maybe figure out a little bit more. But when we're kids, we're so pure that I think even they're teaching us how to be kids again, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I think it was a very bold decision by her, and I support it 100%. Now at first I'm like, whoa, what, you are you sure you want to tell a kid that? But now looking back, I'm like, wow, kids can take it all in a sense where they look at the positive in everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've caught that with Italia.
No, yeah, yeah.
In Berlin.
100%.
Everything's positive.
Yeah.
Like they're like we'll be wherever you want to. I mean, we'll be at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And Mateo will be like, "Oh my God, this soup is so good."
Yeah. You want to know a funny story?
Yeah.
Italia.
Yeah.
You know how I took like 30 days no alcohol?
Yeah.
So I took 30 days no alcohol, and just because, I wanted to be more present for my daughters. I wanted to be more present for my wife. I wanted to be more focused in business. And I just wanted to cleanse, go through a cleanse because even though I'm healthy all the time and I'm always in shape, I just wanted to go through a cleanse. And I went 33 days no alcohol.
That's
and
awesome.
I asked my daughter, I'm like, hey, you know what, 30 days are coming up. That was before. I went 33 days just because I think I had my first drink with you. That's right.
Oh,
before I left to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I remember.
So I told my daughter, hey, 30 days is coming up, and I'm going to have, I could drink now. And I asked Italia, do you want me, so the 30th day, I said, it's tomorrow. And I asked her, I probably shouldn't drink, huh? And she said, no, Dad, yeah, please drink. Please drink. I go have champagne and go drink. And I asked her why.
Yeah.
And she said, because I just want you to be happy.
It's great. Isn't that nuts? Yeah.
And I guess she noticed that I was more serious and more just kind of on the serious side, focused. And, I was probably not. And she said, when you drink, you're funny, Dad. So she was
Very
telling me
black
straight
and
up.
white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up. So like it's just, and then one day I come back home and I have like a breakout. I have a couple of pimples in my face. And the little one, Berlin, he's like, hey, look at your face. You have red. And she starts laughing. Like making
I
fun of me.
believe it.
Yeah, but she's like 2.5 when she was saying that, 2.5. And so
kids are the best.
Kids are like that, but I think it's beautiful. I think it motivates you to work harder, and I think that has also made because when we met, I told you, hey, do it for your kids. You think your kids want to see a dad that's comfortable, or do they want to see a hardworking dad? Oh, look, my dad, he works hard, he stays late, he's out there working, and another thing is your wife, Wera.
Yeah.
How important is she to you, and how does it feel to have somebody that supports you with what you do in your career?
Extremely important.
You think you would be here without her?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be here without my mom or her, because like I said earlier, I feel like my mom was my first half. I'm 42 now, so I would say the first half of my life, my mom was the leader, and then about the second half now, it's been her. It's been my wife, Wera, Wendy. She's kind of like she's the guide that you don't know you have it until you have it.
Yeah.
And of course, as life has it, we're always fighting against what's better for us, right? So, as a kid, you're like, your mom's like, you gotta be home by a certain time. You're like, no, I don't want to, right? You want to rebel out. The same thing with her. Like, I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. But deep down inside, you know that they're in the right. And I think it's just a motherly thing. And I think if you're a lot more advanced than I am mentally than I am as a male, then you might have less. You might need less of that. But I think most of us males, we need that motherly love, and then that's when your wife comes in and she gives you that wife love, where she's not only loving you and supporting you, but she's guiding you without you even knowing it. So if you just listen to her, you'll be in the right path. At least that's what's happened to me. So I give them both all the credit in the world.
Does she challenge you and kind of call you out whenever she feels like she needs to?
Yeah. So before, when I had the company, I'd like to share this because it reminds me of that. I really kept her out of the loop. I kept things like in a fog for her on purpose, because I felt that as long as she's home and she's with the kids, I just need to worry about everything else. She doesn't need to know about the good or the bad. So I would keep her out of it. So it was hard for her to call me out. she still did because she would see the difference of my ups and downs. And now, since we started doing back to, that was one of the things that Bobby Castro told me. He's like, and Sophia too, Castro. Hey guys, shout out to Sophia and Bobby. They both, because I spoke to both of them, they both told me she needs to be involved.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, it's gonna help you. You need to do it. And believe it or not, we opened up so I just remembered we opened up a business account, and I added her to the account. Now most people have said, "Wow, you should have done that from day one," but I had a different mentality. And since then, she's been added to the account. We have the business together, et cetera, et cetera. So she does call me out, and it's actually good for me because at first I was afraid of her finding out my defaults because things go up and down, and now I can't hide anything. She knows everything, and I think that's actually made me better versus trying to hide it. So she's a huge part of where we're at now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can attest to that, having a wife that supports you,
Yeah.
no matter what ups and downs, because ups and downs always happen.
100%.
But before we wrap up, Alexis, one quick thing I want to bring up and ask you, because I want to learn from you right now. So the positive attitude that you have all the time, like I rarely see you like down or mad. You're usually it's rare moments that you're mad, but you're always smiling, positive attitude. Is that something that you do on purpose to kind of maybe block some stuff off, or kind of shift your mindset that everything is positive, or how do you do that? Because you're always loud, laughing, joking, and
Yeah.
if anybody meets you, they're like, damn, this guy's he has a perfect life. Everything is going on amazing for him. Like, he's so happy.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you're like that, or is that just your personality?
So first and foremost, yeah, I believe that is my personality, but it also, and I'm sure other people can testify to this. It also allows me to fake the funk, right? When something's on the downside, it allows me to pretend everything's okay. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that's just a negative in itself, because I think we need the yin and the yang. You need the positive and the negative to be able to go through your tribulations and understand that things are great, things are bad. To understand that, you need both. So I am always positive because I'm always trying to think positive. As a kid, I've always felt like, well, if I think about it, if I just think about it, it's going to happen. And then when things wouldn't happen, I'd be like, oh, being positive doesn't make sense. And as I learn now through the years, it's not just about thinking positive. You got to act positive. So now my actions are positive as well.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I am loud, and I'm always trying to be happy. And that's just how I am. But I understand as well that deep down inside, you always got to think and act positive for things to work out for you. I truly believe that. So I think it's a little bit of both. It's who I am, but it's also who I believe in. So it's a little bit of both. But I've been always like this, though, to be honest.
When you were a kid, when you lived in government housing, you used to, when there was no food, you used to eat tortillas with sugar?
Yeah, how'd you know? How did you know that?
Were you smiling back then? Because I've had tortillas with salt, but not with sugar.
No, con azúcar, mijo. Salt, match the sugar. I guess that's why I was so hyper.
Yeah.
That's why it's so sweet, and I love sweets. You know what? That's the beautiful thing about being a kid, is that that's normal. That was normal for me. So, hey, that's what we're eating? Great, let's do it. Remember, as a kid, everything's positive. And my son, luckily for him, he's not eating that, right? But everything's so positive. Like, he's always on a positive. Like, you think I'm positive. This guy Mateo's positive to the 20th power. And it's crazy. I'm like, Mateo, really? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh shit, he's not lying. So yeah, I was positive because that's all you know. And as a kid, you don't look at things in the negative way. You look at things in the positive way. But yeah, it's always been I think just that's what you know, and you kind of go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Alexis, your new name is the 6-figure monthly guy. the 100K a month guy.
100K. I like it.
So you started a team recently. You started growing your team, and your income change, your lifestyle change, and this is crazy because it happened right now, like recently.
Yeah.
In these times. So people that say these are bad times, these are great times for some people.
I
So,
will say that.
so are you looking to add more people to your team? If people are watching this and they're like, hey, you know what, I just got my license, or I've had my license for a couple years, or I've had my license for a lot of years. I like this guy. I want to join his team. I want to be mentored by him. Are you taking any people that fit your core values and that you feel could be a good fit?
I am, and I want to say something really quick about that. Building a team is not as easy as people think. Number one, number two, building a team can be a lot easier when you're in Ambiance. So for everybody and anybody that's brand new, or thinking of getting their license or wants to transfer, don't join the rest. You got to join the best, and that's Ambiance.
That's right.
You know. So yeah, I'd love to grow the team. I think it's a big deal. My mindset is helping others, and if I can help you fast forward your growth, then great. When I started, there was no such thing as a team thing. So I learned on my own very fast, because I believe I'm a goal getter, and I really was. So I learned on my own really quick. But I probably would have learned quicker if I was a part of a team, because I would have had someone really there with me, I phone call away, email away, text away, to answer my questions and move things a lot quicker. I mean, if I closed 10 on my own, imagine if I had a mentor. I probably could have doubled that. Who knows?
Yeah.
So I think that's the beautiful thing about having a team. If someone's interested, DM us. It's all about, seeing how you feel and seeing how they feel. We can have 20 interviews, but if that person and I don't click, then it's not going to happen, and that's okay. It's it's not for everyone, but if you guys are thinking of growing your real estate career, DM the best Ambiance, and we can make it happen for sure.
Yeah, and I'll put all your information below, your email and everything. Now, you are here from the corporate office here in West Hollywood, but you specialize in the Valley. Is that true? Is that kind of like where you specialize, or are you all over the place?
Well, in the real estate world, it's you should say this, so people understand, because clients sometimes get it a little confused. We're licensed in California.
Yeah.
So let that be known to your clients, your future clients, etc. So we can help you guys anywhere, but at the same time, I truly believe you should specialize in an area, and you should specialize in the area you're very, very, very familiar with. I grew up in the Valley. I've gone all the way from, I'd say the south side, east side to the northeast side, down to the west side, all the way now to the far west side. So for me personally, I would say I specialize in the 818, the San Fernando Valley, because I just know it. I know it so well. Can I do deals outside of it? I've done deals all the way in Visalia.
Yeah.
I've done deals all the way down to San Diego. But it's very important to specialize in a specific area. And luckily for me, I specialize in the San Fernando Valley. So
Got
yes.
it. And you played basketball. A lot of people don't know you're a basketball player. You played with Gilbert Arenas?
I played with Gil 9th grade year. And then I played baseball all through high school. And that's where, funny story is, Gilbert and I graduated the same year in 99. So when I was doing the math and analyzing my basketball career, I'm like, wait a minute, Gilbert, so you're a point guard. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, me too. Wait a minute. I'm not going to play because we're in the same year. So I knew junior and senior year, you're not going to touch the ball. You're probably going to just hand Gilbert his towel. So I'm like, you know what? Smart move is we're just going to skip basketball. We're going to stick to baseball. And I had a great time at Grant, and I enjoyed baseball. I love baseball to this day. So that's how I got to Cal State to play baseball, was through that.
You were a rival because I was Kennedy High School.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kennedy High, the Cougars.
We still got to do the one-on-one game.
We got it.
Yeah.
Whew, that's been a while, long time coming. But you're ready. We can do one-on-one. We can do 3-point contest, free throw. Hey, whatever you want.
We'll keep it a one-on-one.
Okay.
One-on-one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, good luck with that.
One-on-one. So Alexis, so people that want to sell their homes, people that want to maybe list it right now because they want to sell before the equity, if the equity goes down anymore.
Correct.
Or there's a lot of people also that want to buy because right now you're getting a lot of good deals.
Yep.
And you specialize in the 818. So if people are watching this and they're like, hey, I want to work with Alexis, I'm gonna put your information below. But
Perfect.
what's the quickest way to get a hold of you? You want to give your cell phone? I'm gonna put your Instagram here.
Yeah. 818-482-9505. 818-482-9505. We should put that as well. But yeah, anywhere in the Valley. Like I said, I've been doing this for 10 plus years. I've been in industry for 10 plus years. I'm walking you from A to Z, right? I'm walking you from the beginning to the end as a buyer and as a seller. A lot of people now, like you said, they want to sell their home to get all that equity, and now is the time to do it because the industry is still correcting itself. So you might lose some equity now, but if you want to max out on it, let's do it. If you're selling and buying at the same time, which you can do, a lot of people don't understand they can do that. They feel like they have to sell, move into X, Y, and Z home with grandma and grandpa, whoever the case may be, and then go find their future home. No, you do it simultaneously at the same time. I help you go through that. Not everybody can do that. I've had horror stories where they're calling me and saying, can you save me? I sold my house. I'm out of a house. I don't have a house. And my agent's, I don't know what's going on. I can't find a house. And I'm like, why'd you leave your house? Oh, he told me I had to. Or she told me I had to.
Yeah.
And I don't have a house now.
Yeah.
Do not call that agent. I'm sorry. You need experience. Luckily for me, I have it. So if you want someone that's experienced in the industry game, call me. Beginner refinancing, call me. Selling and buying, call me. I'll help you guys out. If you're not ready now to buy, I'll get you ready. But more importantly, like you said, a lot of people that are buying right now, we're getting a lot of deals. I'm getting credits.
Yeah.
8 months ago, if I asked for $1 credit, people would laugh at me.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting 15, 20,000. I had an offer. They countered us, meaning they sent us a reply to our offer, and they offered us $26,000 in credit, which is unheard of. But you need the experience to be able to pull that off.
And you know what else?
Yeah.
The rates are back down to like 5.5 and under that. So if you do a 3-2-1 buy down, you could get a rate at a 2.
That's crazy.
And if you do a 2-1 buy down, you could get a rate back down to a 3.
Yeah. And a lot of people are stuck with the COVID era, 2020
Yeah.
to now. Prior to COVID, guys, just so you know, this is what the market was at now.
Yeah.
So we're back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, no, normal was 2.5, 3.5. COVID wasn't normal, neither was that. So just scratch that out of your head. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Well, all those wannabe agents that were killing it last year are out of
Yeah.
the business, or they're struggling big time right now because they focus on their CRM and systems. But that's good when clients close themselves because prices are going up crazy. Rates are at 2, so anybody can close it. The CRM will close it for you. But right now, what I realized is that the rates are standing out. And right now, more than ever, if you're watching this and you want to list your house, you want to buy a house, you really need somebody that's really good, knowledgeable, and somebody that's going to be very aggressive and know his stuff. Because right now, it's a time where you need to stand out. You need to over deliver.
100%,
And people that
100%.
relied on their just systems to do everything, systems are not going to do the selling for you right now, the negotiating. So if you're watching this, you want to sell, you want to list, you want to find a great deal, or you want to be mentored by somebody that's top right now in these times, 100K right now in these times, dude, that's unheard of. Yeah. Keep those glasses on.
Thank you. I will. And it's all like you said though. It's experience because COVID hit and a lot of things happened. People people made money, but a lot of people didn't know what they're doing, lost it. And now this year it was the same thing, where like, oh my God, it's shifting. And I tell everybody because I get this asked a lot. How are you doing it, and how's the market? Are you okay? And I go, look, the market is still there, regardless of the market. In real estate, you're either gonna buy or sell, right? Now, in a volume nationally, yeah, maybe the market's down, but if you're still the one in the deals, in the small amount of deals that are there, if you're still that one person dealing them, then you're gonna be fine.
Yep.
And luckily for us, here we are.
100%.
Regardless of the market.
Well, Alexis, thank you for being here back. Part 2. We have to have a part 3 now. But thank you so much, bro. Keep killing it.
Thank you for having me.
Leading by example, man. Really proud of you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good one, guys.